Hello, everyone. We're so happy to have you join us today on our third episode of the Founders Corner. For the day, we thought, what better way than to go back to where it all began? For more than one reason. This was, the rationale because, first of all, a lot of our viewers and the people who watched the episode said, okay, but why are you guys doing it? What is the Founders Corner all about? And we thought, okay, let's go back a few steps and let you all in on the Sophia Collective's origin, how it started, who started it, how did it, evolve to where it is today, and what are the future plans, with a bit of information on the Founders Corner. And this is why today Sara is our main guest and our main speaker. We're very happy to host her as the main speaker today. And I'm going to be asking her a few questions and we'll take it from there. My first question would be, Sara, if you were to share why the Sophia Collective with everyone listening with us today, what would it be? Like, why did you start it? What is the Sophia Collective?
Hello, everyone. Hello, Rasha. It's so nice to be here and get to see this warm welcome and have a chance to share with you, all about the Sophia Collective and, its purpose and the reason for its inception. I'm not directly focus, and it's always hard for me because it's an evolution of something that began in 2018 called the Talk Series.
Yeah.
And we started in my home over banana bread and tea, where I invited neighbors. I sent it on a neighbors WhatsApp group that we had in the neighborhood. I think almost every neighborhood has something like this. And I had thought, in where we live particularly, this is in Abu Dhabi from a setting perspective for those listening around the world.
Mm-hmm.
And what we learned quickly is there's this incredible collection of women. They're brilliant, they're highly educated, they're, very dedicated to their families, professions that varied from nurses to doctors to chefs, to homeopaths, like you name it. Every aspect of the field was covered. And yet, we knew each other maybe just by being neighbors or different ways, but we didn't have a connection through what we have in common or what interested or values we shared. Like it was more challenging to know who we are. So I just thought, what a wonderful chance to get to know new people, especially also the other reason was that I had finished a 22-year career in the corporate world. I shouldn't say finished, but I had parked it. You really never finish, do you? But I had made a choice to do something different. And wanted to invite new energies in my life. So that anyway, we gathered and 22 women showed up. Funny enough, we call them the OGs. Many of them still are around today, many years later. And there was such a big bond and a beautiful experience where we spoke about mindfulness, the importance of it, how do you practice it? And these 22 women was actually the reason of why we are here today. They asked for it to continue. They asked for it to become a permanent fixture in their lives where they would be able to a place to come to. So fast forward, we did that. We did that every year, even throughout COVID. We would meet online. So we did that monthly, etc. And I think what happened after that, after being inspirational, after women came together and shared their stories, we actually don't use the word speaker too much. We use the word storyteller more than that, because we wanted to shift the conversation from the mind to the heart, and the ability to really share what are we about. Sure, we're educated in schools and knowledge, but what is it that we give this planet? What is it that we share? And it's storytelling, heartfelt. The fifth chakra, the fourth chakra. And what emanated post that is that, okay, we started to plateau kind of in inspiration, not new, but it felt like, okay, now so many women were inspired, a new energy was being born. And this new energy was more of people were seeking and asking, well, how do I do? So great, you're inspiring me to transition into a new role, or I finished raising my kids for 20 years and now I want to really hone into my skills and start a new business or re-enter the workforce. What is it that you would be able to how but now it's like, how? Give me the skills, give me the needs, give me
Yeah.
and that's actually why the Sophia Collective was, I think, the energy that pulled it, is that we transformed to not only inspire but also equip women. And because it was born towards this whole philosophy where it started by women, it's shifting towards women. And I think the world knows that women for so long and continue today to be underrepresented when it comes to funding. So we wanted to
Yeah.
give knowledge, we wanted to open doors, we wanted to, fund um, a different formation. So that's where a kind of a new energy was put in. And that's when the introduction also of co-founders came in. So initially I was the founder, and then we shifted to say, this is, if we're going to do what we're going to do, it's going to take a number of people to do it. So that's a little bit about the Sophia Collective.
Yeah, I love it. And then the different tracks were born, right? The
Yes.
different pillars were born from all of the work, from all of the energy that was put in, because you realize that, okay, that's great, but you need to probably like organize it in different pillars for people to be able to benefit from the journey, just to understand like, where am I at today? What am I going to benefit from the most? And where should my journey take me?
I'm when I look at myself in the world of functionality and corporate and education, when you put it all together, I'm ultimately almost like a systems person. And I understood always that
Mm,
the heart doesn't work without the mind, without the liver. The skin plays an
mm,
important part, if we're going to, use this as an analogy. So I was trying to analyze and understand the world, because recognize I didn't belong to the investment world, the entrepreneurial world in that way. I recognize that every woman is an entrepreneurial spirit, but there's a world that existed as we know it, and it had its own language and its own spaces. And
yeah.
I didn't belong to that world. So I didn't necessarily have to play by those rules. So when I came in and started diagnosing this world and trying to understand it, I was like, it's missing. No wonder why women are not succeeding, because it's missing certain elements that we need to go through.
Yeah.
First of all, the harshness of the language and the feedback. Not that we can't take it. I mean, I lived in corporate world across multiple industries, and every place has its own language and its own culture. It's
Yeah.
not that we can't take it, but there's it was like an approach of almost unnecessary. And I'm like, okay, what if we provide a slightly different space where people get feedback? I'm known to be very clear and harsh and direct in my feedback, but I'm
Yeah.
really loving and gentle. So at the end of the day, there's an understanding and knowing that I hope to form around people to say, I might give you this feedback, but it really is, what can I do to help you get beyond this feedback? So, but this is, I will not withhold the truth
Yeah.
from someone, nor should anyone really. But it's not just about that. It's about how do you get them to the next phase if they choose to take that feedback without ego. A lot of people
Yeah.
falter; they don't know what to do with it. Um, but if they choose to take it, they choose to proceed, they choose to grow from it, they will know that the Sophia Collective is there for them on the other end. And I think
Yeah.
that's something that we have proven over the last 2 years. And it's just it matters whether or not people are willing. Who are they as an individual? Where are they on
Mm,
the readiness scale to take that on?
yeah.
And we've seen cases where people were ready, and we've seen cases where people faltered and could not really take it on.
Yeah.
But regardless, going back to the pillars, since I am a systems person, I tried very much to understand, at least to put forth, what would it need to create a holistic system that can take a woman from an ideation phase to a place where she could actually monetize or generate certain value, and then eventually raise money
Yeah.
for this. So, we created these 4 pillars initially, which were the talk, which is an inspiration platform. So we took that
Mm,
years in the past and we brought it in and we put it in a place where it can have its own sacred space. That's a space where, we've always, I hope and pray as long as Sophia Collective is in existence, this continues to be a place for us to gather and form and share and inspire.
Yeah.
And then a new pillar, multiple pillars. Then there was another pillar called Sophia Grow. And this pillar was around the idea of, again, how do you go through that whole path? How do you create a business plan? How do you create an idea into a tangible physicality? So something goes from probability to actuality. So people start, so it's almost in the possibility phase. That's where the
Yeah.
growth system sits. That now things are possible. Things, I can really do things in a great way. So that was really cool to see come to life. And then we have Sophia Connect. Sophia Connect has always been an interesting one because people have always thought it's about networking. And this is probably the most misunderstood pillar because it's a pillar that actually was meant to be the place where women come and find a space for them to generate even their first revenue. It's like, what does it taste like where we would able to connect the customer with the founder? And that's really what it was like. We would create almost workshops or situations and any type of event that's needed and sessions, etc., for women to come and say, hey, I can actually sell, I can actually share part of these
Yeah.
moments. So that's what Connect was about. It's really connecting the community with the founders. And obviously that creates both inspiration, it shows connection, it shows a
Mm.
opportunity, and it shows hopefully a possibility for that person, for the entrepreneur to know that it is possible for me to generate value. It's approving the MVP. And
Yeah.
then the last but not least pillar at the time was the Sophia Build. And that's a way, once that has been proven and people feel like they want to carry through, made the decision that this is a journey they want to take, because this is, again, a really interesting journey to be on. It's a lot more self-reflection than it is anything else as well, and self-growth, is the ability to raise money. And that's where we saw a lot of women falter in a way, or fall, or not get supported, or backtrack quite late. So we try to
Yeah.
give them this opportunity early and grow, but in Build is to connect them to early stage investors or angel investors, whether they invested or not, but to really give feedback, to give them a points to be able to get stronger, better, tougher skin, whatever it is that's needed to take their business to new heights.
Yeah.
Most recently, we added another pillar, which we've been working on for a while, but we never formulated it as its own standalone space, but the Sophia Health. And an understanding that health is so prioritized. And in this time and age that we're living in, more importantly, like the ability to look inwards, the fact that we know the entrepreneurial journey as a whole is also a self-discovery type journey. So providing that well-being, the coaching, the support, but also, the health, if whichever reflection a person is going through, whatever obstacle they're facing, we can also provide support for them on
Yeah.
this journey through brilliant beings that are there to help.
I love two things about it. I love the fact that women women for now, like in the storytelling part,
Yeah.
it is women for now, can identify where they're at today and they can choose which pillar to go to, right? And then they will complete the journey, complete the cycle. But in reality, it does not mean if I go to a talk session, I am bound to be inspired to start my own thing. And there's no pressure, right?
Oh
It's
no.
just there's just about seeing what other people are doing, connecting with other people, understanding that anyone can be able, especially now in this day and age, can be able to build their own thing. And the beauty of the pillars is that you either choose to go through them all of them, or you can choose where you are at now and just spend more time in that space with that community, with these people who will be able to, first, as you said, through the conversations, because I'm a big believer that we learn from discussions and from communication and from talking, right? You are able to reflect internally and see where you are at today and where you want to head and where you want to go. So I think that is beautiful. That's the first part. And the second part that I really, really love is the fact that the website and the platform today offers people this ability to, explore the different pillars, connect with the community, be able to, just go in, explore the Sophia Collective more, see where they're at, attend our sessions, see the activities and the calendar. Like, for example, the session that we had yesterday was absolutely brilliant. On it, and it's twofold in my mind. On one side, it is giving the spotlight to one of the community members to share and to be able to spread their message and to, for people to see them and their abilities and capabilities and what they do, whether as a business or a startup or an initiative, whatever it is. And on the second is for people to actually benefit from it and get a taste of how important it is. So yeah, like, I just wanted to highlight both. Definitely the website and the platform is a place where people will go in and benefit and explore the Sophia Collective even more.
Yeah, and both really crucial. And I loved what you said initially on the entry point is free of choice, obviously.
Yeah, yeah,
And
flexible.
people can be completely flexible and where people want to enter, but also how much time they want to spend in each.
Yeah.
Obviously, because Grow is a little bit of a, it's modular, it comes up, it's usually offered once a year. So that is a bit time bound. But anyone can truly, I've often said, I've done, for those of you that know me, and maybe quite a few don't when listening to this, I've done quite a bit of work around a lot of self-reflection, self-growth. I've been around some great teachers that challenged my ego in every way possible. And
Mhm.
teachers are, everyone, like my kids, people I worked with, but, also proper, wise teachers that have lived beautiful lives in terms of being able to share knowledge and information. So I've been quite blessed in having that in my life. And knowing this, and understanding this and bringing that to the Sophia Collective and understanding that it is okay for people to
Mm.
have that freedom of choice of where they come in and to grow.
Yeah.
But also what I've noticed about the Grow program, a dear friend, and she's also a co-founder, Claire, has run these modules. And the first two specific modules she runs are a lot more around purpose. And I find those to be some of the best work I've actually have had in the simplest of ways because it's done
Yeah.
so elegantly in such simple form that it just allows the kind of the mind and the heart to connect in a 3-4 hour,
Mm.
such a small time investment and small money
Beautiful. Mm.
investment that you go in for 3 to 4 hours, half day at the most, and you're able to realign the purpose of what you want to do. And it's also time bound, it's like something that's in front of
Mhm.
you as a choice. It really
Yeah.
helps the clarity of that. And imagine if someone is an entrepreneur or is thinking about this, these two out of the five, before even continuing the journey of business planning,
Yeah.
often people run forward to do something before recognizing, is this even a path? So before spending the time, the energy, the money, they can
Yeah.
actually know where they're going. And I think, and if this is the
Yeah.
right aligned thing, it's almost like a no, like for me, I'm like, why isn't everybody? I think there's people don't know because I actually, every time she runs this, I'm there because
Yeah.
I was like, where, and it just helps so much, like allow me to land in that moment. And we look at offering it online as well, maybe this cycle or
Yeah.
next cycle, so that way maybe more people globally can join
Good.
if
Yeah.
they
Yeah. Yeah.
choose
Yeah.
to, because I think
Yeah. I
that's
think
such a
that's
powerful
important.
thing to do. So there, now it's, being offered physically, but we're exploring that. If anyone is interested, please share with Riham or info at the sophiacollective.net. It's a really powerful course. I really, really encourage people to do it. Anyway, it's so the reason I mention this is that it allows for anyone to come in. There are these like brilliant gold nuggets within all our programs.
Yeah.
It's our ability to highlight them, share about them, and also the same with the Sophia Health. Now people can come in just to learn whichever phase in life. I think the one that's on offer now, it's for women in transitioning maybe into menopause or other forms of life, but it's about body, mind, and soul, and how do they all connect?
Yeah.
How do we learn how to navigate through that cycle of life? But also they give a lot more information about nutrition, about health. And I find it phenomenal, particularly in the West, where people have a lot of this information, but it's so overwhelming. While these
Yeah.
beautiful women put it in such simple forms and terms that they make it, I think everything about the Sophia Collective, we try to make it practical and applicable.
Yeah.
So it feels simple, but simple is difficult to do if, and that's really what we aim to do, is just to give it to people in bites and touch the heart.
And it's also about, in my mind, I see it as, not a lot of us, when we are, in our daily lives and whatever's happening with us, we are exploring the inside of what's happening inside. Where most of the time we're on the outside, we're in the mind, but we are not seeking any alignment. We are not checking for any alignment that is happening within us. And even as the founders, I think it's very important that the inside it's like a house. You have to have the inside organized before you start your outside journey when it comes to, starting a business and building a business, because it is so, from what we've heard from, the different founders, you need a lot of, like, the message that keeps coming is that the internal strength, your internal compass, your resilience, these are all internal attributes that you need to build. And before you are able to do that, if you go and venture into your own business, it might be like just too much, too overwhelming. What you might cause burnout. You might, yeah, exactly. And that's this. I think this is beautiful because it takes us to our next topic, which is the Founders Corner, and why we chose to have a podcast to spotlight specifically founders and their journeys. So what makes these sessions different than the talks or panels, or where, all the different times we see and hear entrepreneurs and founders speak so far? Why have they been different to you?
I think the biggest part is our intention, and what we aim to do is get people to talk from the heart.
Yeah.
It is sometimes challenging when someone is in an entrepreneurial space, because their demands in the outside world is so mind-based, like numbers.
Yeah.
So for them to decompress in this hour that we give them, and just to remind them of their purpose, remind them of the story, why they actually started this. And then why can they, hopefully it inspires others, whether it's to proceed or not proceed, because both are
Yeah.
very important when you're making that decision. But also I pray that it's also a rejuvenating hour for the founder themselves in that time.
Yeah.
It's almost like a healing session, right? Like it's a
Mm.
stop in point to say, what can I do? Oh my God, yes, actually, this is the reason why I started all this. Let me recenter.
Yeah,
There's
we
a
need
lot.
reminders sometimes.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes on in life that, we become so task focused. So the type of questions I feel we ask and the type of messaging we want to share are ones that, again, because we are born on inspiration, they are inspiring and hopefully re-inspiring
Yeah.
the founder themselves. So we bring that energy, and the heart energy, the courageous energy, because a lot of people think heart energy is just, oh, it's love and kooky, but it's actually extremely, when you ignite,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like when you ignite the energy of the heart, it's the energy of courage, it's the energy of choice, it's the energy of, forthcoming. It's the energy that really takes things to greatness. And people forget to deal with this, so they miss the greatness part somehow when they kind of force it versus like power through it. And
Yeah.
so this is for me. I mean, I know it gives a lot to the Founders Corner, but that's the intention behind it. That's what is it's based on. Like that's its foundation. And
Yeah.
we bring that to every session. We hope to bring laughs and smiles and good memories to the founders themselves,
Yeah.
and the messages they can share with the audience and people listening to them.
Yeah, I think this is what also some of the feedback that we've received is that the founders are talking more about the insight, their motivation, their ambition, the passion that they have for what they're doing, etc. While most of the other talks and the speaker sessions are all about what are you selling, right? How much revenue are you making? What is the right way to get to customers? How do we actually, make sure that we're targeting the right segments, etc., etc. So this is why I think we are a bit different, because we're telling them things that, a lot of the people are not expecting to hear. But at the same time, as you mentioned, like it's also for the founders, you see it in their eyes. They're like, there's a moment where they say, oh, this is why I started this. Because sometimes you forget why you started, and you're in the middle of, fighting and challenging and building and selling, and you just sit and you're just exhausted because you don't have time to connect. And this also takes energy, and this also needs time, and you need to dedicate time for that.
Yeah. And though the numbers and conversation, those are very important, obviously. There's nothing in the Sophia Collective Founders Corner that dismisses that at all. But I think what
Yeah.
is important to note is there's so much conversation on that.
Yeah, already.
We will leave it for others to continue that. I think that's the part that's really important. We don't deny it. It's as important to us as
Of
others.
course. Yeah.
It is important to recognize that you gotta have some ambition, obviously, to reach the results component.
Yeah.
But all we're saying is that do it knowing that you have a lot more power. Because when you talk to, big time investors or people that kind of choose, okay, like this is the person we want to invest in, or this is who is great, and this is, who we go after. They tell you it's the founder story,
Yeah.
the ability of that founder, and their why. That's where investors come in. And then obviously it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy because they believe in it, they invested in it, they want it to win. So it's a
Yeah.
very interesting cycle. So when we remind founders of that, we also hope to ignite that they remember that this is the reason of why they're, people are chosen as well to be invested in.
Mm. But it brings me to another question, probably not very much related, but very much related at the same time. But when we say it's like women get globally, less than 5% of investments, while women are great storytellers and communicators. So in the cycle that you mentioned, where do you see them? I don't want to say the word falter, but maybe not pay enough attention or not focus more, because again, we are doing it differently. We are trying to create an ecosystem where women do not have to go through the same cycle that is currently out there, and get a better probably result when it comes to raising and when it comes to investment. But if we are to say, okay, this is what's existing currently in the world, this is the cycle we're talking about, where do we need to pay more attention as female founders?
Yeah, it's a beautiful question, Rasha. It actually is exactly kind of where we're at right now. I've given up on that question itself in terms of what should women founders do to get more money, because
Yeah.
after spending 3 years supporting women, so it was exciting. We talked about Sophia and Start Point. I started to think that the system is insane. Like it's the definition of insanity what's going on, because it's exactly that. What should women do? What can we do? How do we make it work?
Yeah.
What should happen? And I'm like looking at it where there are some brilliant women, fairly enough, which needs to be said, most invest in type of social infrastructure, community-based initiatives,
Yeah.
or initiatives that benefit both. They could really earn tremendous value, but at the same time, they may need longer runway to do so, because it has, I don't know. And it's not just family and children. It actually is also the business itself needs time
Yeah.
to simmer. It needs time to mature. And the hockey stick scenario where they're like you have the 3 months, then the 6 months, and so this quarterly update scenario, and how fast are you growing, may look differently for some of the businesses women choose. Now, there are great women out there that have developed beautiful businesses that have been supported, but they often fit maybe fintech, or they fit
Yeah.
specific tech scenarios that are clear and understood, and also have this kind of
Yeah.
curve. So because of this, because of kind of observing, there's obviously other skills. Like, I think you have to be financially literate. You have to be tech savvy. If you're not
Mm.
yourself, you have to also be a good leader to be able to articulate and attract people that will carry this message forward with you. So I think those are really important components that, I think that's whether it's a man or a woman that is required. So
Yeah,
I think
true.
I won't get into the game of that's a man or a woman. I think it really more is, will businesses make money for investors? Because there's a lot of these LPs and people that want to return
Mm.
funds. And just women tend to naturally lean towards societal improvement projects.
Yeah.
And if they don't, because unfortunately the women businesses haven't succeeded in the past, every time they show up for or at least they've been, how would you say, they have been labeled as businesses that have not succeeded in the past. Every time they show up to an investment committee type decisions, the questions they're asked are not, how will you make this succeed? It's, how will you make this not fail? So as I
Mm.
watched this for 2 years, and we run a couple of pitch sessions. Thankfully, ours did not include these things, but others, and learning a lot more. Again,
Yeah.
I said I was on the peripheral of this
Yeah.
community, and then I started getting in a little bit more. Then you start going, okay, wait a minute, this is like crazy. How is this possible? Like, how are we supposed? What else can we do? And
Yeah.
and I don't think it only lies on us, to be honest.
Yeah.
There is a lot systematically that needs to change. The
Hmm.
paradigm, the system, the setup is not conducive. And it's not, and it's funny because everyone is asking the same question. This is not something that we're solving on our own. There's a lot of people interested in this, and
Yeah.
genuine, really think genuinely. But then when you ask them, what are you willing to do about it? It's a lot less, maybe, because it's the system is set up like this. What can I do about it?
Yeah, we're used to it. Like, we need to create something new, something different, a different way of doing things. And this is where, change management happens, and transformation. And a lot of the energetic also work that the Sophia Collective puts in is just to try to let people see the different ways of doing things, rather than the typical traditional way that we have been doing for the past years. So
Yeah,
I agree. No,
yeah,
that's beautiful. Okay.
yeah. And I think
So
this is, yeah, maybe that leads you to the next question, but I'm
yeah,
also
yeah, yeah.
eager to
Go
jump
ahead.
in. Let's see. I don't know go ahead.
But I think that, for the Founders Corner, I think it's a beautiful opportunity for people to really see founders with a different light, from a different perspective, rather than what they see usually. And that's the reason, like, going back to the question, that is the reason why we are doing the Founders Corner, and why we feel that it is a beautiful time to spend with people who are in that journey today, right? And learning from them as potential founders, or future founders, or people who want to be founders, or are reflecting on it, what it takes, and what can you expect to go through, and the whole feeling of being a founder. And it's not easy. It's not, it's something that is really, takes you through a lot of stops in your journey. Anyway, so moving forward, I just wanted to ask you, so taking into consideration all of that, how it started, what happened to where it's at, to the different pillars, to the Founders Corner, and what Build is trying to do with that, and the platform, of course, our online presence, what do you see the Sophia Collective become in the next few years? What's the future for you? How does it look?
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly kind of where I was heading when we were having this kind of formation, because it is, I think it's already happened, Rasha, because that insight around understanding the dynamics of this insane kind of situation where we keep asking that question, everyone really genuinely wants to shift it. There's not one person out there that's malicious or doing it for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
Just everyone is just in the system. Is that we had said, okay, well, there were two great factors, right? Like there's this, disruption that's coming and it's already arriving with the world of AI. And this brought with it a lot of analytical, when we talked about financial and tech abilities that women really lacked.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, that actually, when you look at the map of what AI by Anthropic today, what AI covers, it covers a lot of those analytical skills. So a lot of the left brain stuff that women, maybe most women that had like social type businesses, lacked. So AI, we're like, okay, wait a minute, AI actually brings that as possibly an equalizer. So
Yeah.
how do we look at those things? And then the other component we started understanding and seeing is that there's also a desire, because this, for the same reason of this disruption, is that what will actually emerge in society. No one really knows what we will look like 5 or 10 years down the road, but if I would predict, the community-based initiatives that we started with, like the Sophia Talk, would become even more crucial and more important as communities and bases and spaces for us to come together, for us to grow and learn and share and storytell. So those of us that will kind of try to land somewhere will need to ignite the heart energy a lot more. And what we started to see is a lot of people are fearing this. And the question is that since we are a heartfelt energy, how do we move people from fear to courage?
Yeah.
How do we get people to shift towards that? And that became almost an obsession since the end of last year. Now, when you go to visit our website, which you mentioned, you will see something called the Sophia Collective 3.0. So we had this talk series, then we had the Sophia kind of launch when we went to equipping and helping women. And now after 2 years, 3 years of like insanity of like, how would women make it in this world? AI, which is creating a lot of disruption, we're saying, how do we twist that and make it something powerful? How do we make it something positive? How do we help women shift and take this on and say, how do I then complement my finance skills by using this tool? How do I then complement my tech skills by using this tool? And then if I do that, so now we're like new stuff coming up with Sophia Collective vibe coding sessions. We're doing crazy collaborations with people that can coach you online to be even build a website. It used to cost you $20,000 in the past. It will cost you $1,000 now, because you will know how to do this. So what will happen to women entrepreneurs, even on the social front, is that runway might become shorter because the MVP is faster to reach. Now, the issue now is it's change management, right? It's getting that information out there, getting our philosophy out there, and sharing it so people get to know that this is possible. And that's what's exciting at the Sophia 3.0. So in addition to helping people in general, ignite this energy, the other component that's really big for us right now is we are shifting away from just supporting women. Women is like, they are the heart of this platform. They will continue to be. but we also want to support everyone women love.
Mhm.
So children 16 plus, because what we
Yeah,
started to see, and this is again by the demands of many, is that in 5 years, our 16-year-olds are going to be 21. They will inherit
absolutely.
the world.
Yeah,
And when we look at it, we're like, what tools are we giving? So women themselves are saying, okay, not only for me, but I want to also help my child transition through this.
yeah,
So we expanded our platform to include these beautiful, talented young people because they can walk hand in hand with us and they will shape the world that they want to live in. And we should help them. We
yeah,
need to be there for them. And we need to listen to what ideas they need to have. And then through these crazy collabs, support them to make that happen.
yeah,
And, that's what's exciting again at Sophia 3.0. So there are these type of, we're
yeah,
exploring that. So if anyone is listening and this is something of interest, again, please contact us.
yeah. Reach
We're looking
out.
at creating a
So much
community.
happening.
So much is happening,
So much is happening. Yeah,
we're looking at like Sophia fellowships for them. So like, yeah, so there are these type of spaces that we're looking to generate, like even just talking about it, like ignites
yeah.
my heart energy.
Same, same. Yeah,
It's
very
so
happy to
powerful.
see what's gonna happen. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think this is part of, when you say you leave your legacy behind, you create a dent in the world, and this is how we want to be remembered, and this is beautiful because you are leaving positive impact, even if it is, for me, if I go to a session and I hear someone inspirational speak and they do something for me, like they make me reflect on my own journey, on my own learning, that by itself is doing something and leaving an impact. Imagine if we are able to drive forward Sophia 3.0 to where we think it would be. But again, like you said, no one knows where we're going to be. So it's going to be like this crazy journey of
But the beauty
discovering
of
things.
Russia, the beauty of the Sophia Collective is its agility.
Yeah, true.
We have been here since 2018, though small, but we've adapted every few years to what needs to happen. And I think this is where women's skills are strong. Because we're community based, because we listen,
Yeah,
attentively to our community. We're aware, we're in touch, we're in tune, regardless where we live in the world. By the way, we're really able to do that. And because we were based out of Abu Dhabi initially, so many nationalities live there. So we have
yeah,
tentacles in
yeah,
different parts of the world that continue, whenever we have something online, they continue to show up. So I think these type of spaces, this type of energy, the type of input and feedback, have you thought about this? Have you thought about this? Allows us to stay connected to homes across the world. And that is super powerful to take that and say, okay, how do we transfer that to something
yeah,
tangible for our community or communities to use? Um,
yeah,
so even like on scalability, how do we scale? How do we make that happen? And I think, AI and the world that we're coming into only makes this easier. So,
yeah,
it is, and I'll share one more thing. Like in the beginning, we never used to record anything. It was
true.
such a sacred space. Like that's probably the biggest shift Sophia has seen. We wanted
Mhm.
every person to feel that safety. We never even took photos. We took some like random photos that you
Yeah,
could see on our website just to kind of tell our story. But we were really we were true to our sacredness. But then as the evolution came about and we're like, women were saying, can we please, have some of these recordings? Can we please
yeah,
access this? We shifted, we grew, we became more agile as the community became, you know, inquisitive. And now
yeah.
obviously with AI, um, we're almost spreading in multiple spaces and places, so that's exciting to see.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I think that that gives our viewers and the people who are listening to us great insight and a much deeper insight on what the Sophia is, on what Sarah's vision is as well, right? And on what the Founder Corner is all about. And on that note, I think for our next podcast session, I'm really looking forward to it because we will be hosting two amazing founders who have established an organization. It's associated with empowering Palestinian communities through different fields, education, networking, and development. I think talking about that, the empowering people and upskilling people is really just will take us a nice flow to our, fourth podcast session. Thank you so much, Sara, for your time, for your energy that you are always giving out to all of us. And yeah, hopefully people will enjoy hearing about it. And again, if you have any questions, if you would like to know more about what we do, feel free to connect with us through our website, and we will post it as well at the end of the video.
Yeah,
Thank
lots of
you.
love, everyone. Thank you for listening, and see you in one of our vibe coding sessions or one of
meditation sessions.
meditations. We're doing a
Yeah,
bit
we do
online
so
right
much.
now. Yeah, or grow
Yeah,
sessions, or maybe
yeah,
one day build. We look forward. If you are interested, if you're an entrepreneur, again, I think everything's going to be posted. We really look forward to, meeting you at least. And if you have any questions,
yeah.
we can guide as well in this time and age. Lots of love.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Rasha, for all the
Bye.
love, and talk to you soon.
See you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.